Hello, everybody. I am Stephanie Korn. I am an instructional technology specialist at East High School in Northern Illinois. And today we are going to look at using Screencastify to increase engagement and understanding in your Schoology course. There are so many ways that you can embed video for your students in Schoology. So let's get started. A little introduction to me. Like I said, I work at St. Charles East High School in Northern Illinois, but I also help support teachers at the elementary and the middle school level on occasion. I'm a Google certified educator and trainer. I am a hopefully loving wife and mom to a senior in high school and a seventh grader. I love to read, though I don't have much time to read nowadays. Most often I listen to audiobooks on my way home. That's how I get most of my reading in. I love to travel and go visit new places. And I enjoy cooking. I still kind of go off of recipes. I'm not into the actual chef creation recipe process yet, but I will gain the confidence to get there someday. All right, so one way that you can use Screencastify videos in Schoology is by doing class introductions. Whether you're remote or whether you are in person, this is a great way for students to introduce themselves, especially for those students who are a little more shy and don't like getting up in front of people. They can introduce themselves on video and they can view each other's videos. A couple of ways that we can do this in Schoology. We can include it in a discussion. We can include it in a media album, and then they can communicate virtually within those discussions or media albums so they can find common interests and talk about them that way. So let's take a look at what that looks like in Schoology. So this is an example of an introduction that is in a discussion. Notice my discussion post has my video embedded right into it.
Forward to learning more about you.
I press play. This would be for just from the student perspective. They would be able to watch the video. They can like it. They can reply to your post. And I like that too. And then they can communicate back and forth to each other that way. So just how do we do this? In your Schoology course, either go to Add Materials, or if you hover over one of the little gray dotted lines, it turns green. If you do it this way, it will put your discussion right where that line is. If you do the Add Materials way, it'll bump it down to the bottom. So I recommend doing it this way if you know exactly where you want it to go. Then you come down to Add a Discussion. Right. Now that we're in here, we need to give it a title. And here's where you will type your description. If you have a due date or if you want to enable grading of the discussion, you would do it here. And then click Create. Okay, so now let's say they use Screencastify to create their video. It's saved to Google Drive. You would come over to what I call the resource shelf. Come over to the one that's called Resource. And one of the resources to pull from is in our Apps section. We're going to use our Google Drive resource app. This contains all of the files in your Google Drive. It will not contain it in the same order or organizational pattern that you have it in your Google Drive if you go straight there. Instead, it pops up when you last touched it. So if you want to find a video that you haven't looked at in a while, the best place or way to find it is to search it. So I know that I called mine Introduction. And there it is. So I'm going to check the checkbox And notice this changes to import. So we're going to click import and import embed. Right? And notice it embeds it right in there. With our view, with the author of this discussion post's view, it's very small. But once we post it, then it will look more like-minded. Another little helpful hint is Schoology will not let you post anything until there's something typed into it. So even if your students say, here is my introduction, and then it allows them to post. All right. And then once it's in there, it's nice and big, and students can just post them and then work their way down and watch each of the videos. Another way to post videos in Schoology is with a media album. A media album is exactly what it sounds like. It is kind of like a photo album, but it holds media. So this is the icon that it looks like. And these media albums will hold photographs and videos and audio files. So media albums are also a great place if you just want to upload pictures of student work or other types of images. So what would happen is after they upload it, videos look like this. The students would press play. It would pop open. They'd be able to view each person's video. You can tell who uploaded and who the video is from right there. They can write comments down here, and then they can click next and move on to the next video. Now, I don't have another one, so I was going to go directly back to mine. But a disadvantage of doing it this way is that once somebody writes a comment, there is no way for anybody to respond to that comment without just creating a brand new comment that way. Now let's see how we load this video into our media album. How do we create one? So if I come back out to my folder, I'm going to press my green dotted line again. And this time I'm going to scroll down to media album. All right, I'm going to call it class introductions. Again, this description, this is where you're going to type how you want them to upload their videos. And if there's anything specific you want them to put in their videos. Let's take a look at some of the options for this one. This option, individually assigned, if you have different media albums for different groups in your class, this is how you would set the media album for each group. The green means it's published to students, so they'll be able to see it right away. This is comments are enabled, so students will be able to make comments on each other's videos. Make sure instructors and students can add media is selected on this one. Otherwise, students won't be able to upload their own video. And click Create. Now, this is where you can add your media. So if you have created an introduction that you want to load as an example, you would load it right here. I'm just going to click Add Media for now. Now, this is what your students would see. For them to add media, then they would come up to Add Media. Then we have the same box to attach our files. Now, this way it pulls right from your computer. You can't pull from the Google Drive app, so you would have to download your Screencastify video onto your device. And there we go. There's my introduction. Then we click Open, and we add media. It asks them if they want to add captions to it, then that would be a way to do it. Or they could just click into it and edit caption right there. All right, so there's two ways that you can upload class introductory videos into your Schoology course, either with discussions or media albums, depending on what you are hoping your students to do with them. All right, so here is a video in our presentation that you can go back to if you would like to see how to do that again. Just so you know, back on the first page here, there is a QR code and a bit.ly so that you can have this presentation and put it on your drive if you so choose. All right, the next way that you can use video in your Schoology course is to embed them in folder descriptions. And this allows you to guide students through the folder workflow. So this is something of how it would look like. Here we have our folder. I have some text telling students what this particular folder is about. And then I have embedded a video underneath that that actually walks them through the different things in that video and what to do with them. This can help to model expectations, clear up misunderstandings, preview what is to come. So let's take a look at how to do that. In my folder here, I'm going to add another folder, and I want my folder to be on top. So I'm going to press the plus. I'm going to add a folder. I can choose what color I want, and then I am going to call it Introductions. Here I am going to type what is in this folder. It could be as simple as a preview of what's in it, or you could bullet it and list some of the things that are in there. Now, to add a video to this description, you come over to Insert Content. And again, we have our Google Drive resource app. Now, if you have loaded your Screencastify onto YouTube and you would just like to pull it from there, you could do that as well. I'm going to pull it from the Google Drive resource app. And then once again, I am going to search for it. I believe this one never got titled. Okay, I'm going to click import and then import embed just like we did before. Now you won't originally get to see the video when you put it. This is like a placeholder, so you can make your video bigger or smaller. If you want to add an end date or a date that this folder will be published to will appear for students, or change the published time status, you can do it right there as well. And then you click create. All right, so here we go. Here's my video. I have a little tutorial on what I want them to do in that video, so that, or in that folder, so they know what to expect right away going into that folder. All right, another thing we can do with videos in Schoology is to embed them in a Schoology page. Now, this can help give students visual guidance. It can help educate them. There are many reasons why you might want to do this, including previewing the lesson to come, or teaching them a new concept, or modeling what you want them to do, or guiding them through an activity. Now, a page in Schoology is kind of like a web page or a Google or a Word doc, where it allows you to type. It allows you to put things in. You're able to add more things into this page, like embedding videos and embedding other Google Docs or Google Slides. So it's almost closer to a Google Slide, actually, than a Google Doc, in that you can embed so much more into it. Pages are great for setting up step-by-step lessons, for kind of like a hyperdoc, and leading them through what you want them to do. So let's see what that looks like in Schoology. All right, so here's an example of a page. The page title, you could type in directions. Here is my video that's embedded in. You can keep going in and adding other things to this page to lay out exactly what you expect of your students. But let's take a look at how to create this. So if I go back to my folder and I do the green plus sign again, and this time I'm going to add a page. So you will immediately have a blank canvas with which to work. You have your rich text editor to add your text with. I'm going to give it a title. Here I'm going to type any information. And then over here, we can insert content. Now you can insert images. You can insert links. But instead of just throwing a link in there, it's always best to embed anything if you can. If you can't embed it, linking's going to work. And you're going to know right away if the embedding doesn't work, because it's going to give you an error. And in that case, you can always resort to just linking it out. But let's go ahead and link some or embed some videos in there. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive resource app. And I am going to embed I'm just going to embed my introduction video again. Let's say I'm making this page to show step by step how I want my students to make their introduction video. And here is the example. Right. I can also embed a Google slide. I can embed any of these into our page. So once I've clicked the check boxes, I go to import, embed. And here I have 2 boxes. Notice they're my placeholders again. I can make them bigger and smaller, depending on the size I want. So if you have different groups in your class, maybe they're doing different projects, or they're reading a different book, then you can individually assign this page to a particular group. Otherwise, if it's for the whole class, you'll leave this alone. It's green, so it's going to be automatically published to students when you click create. You can unpublish it for now by just clicking that. And then right now, this is going to display on a new page. So I will show you what that looks like. I'll click create. All right, so here's my page. I'm going to click into it. Now, this is what it means when it says display on a new page. I have to actually click on the title to see what is in there. So here is my slideshow. Here is my typed information. Here is my video. So this is very convenient. Maybe you have a lesson that is in a slideshow format. You want them to go through, learn some things. They can do that first. Then you want them to make that video. So then you go down, give directions on making the video, and here is the example of that. And that is embedded right in there as well. Let's talk about embedding these videos in a Schoology assignment or a discussion. We looked at the discussion a little bit earlier when we talked about the class introductions. So that works pretty much the same way, where you're going to embed it in the discussion. Let's get out here. Okay, so where we had our class introductions, and how students can upload their introduction in there. But what you can also do is load a video right in your description. So maybe you want to put your introductory video right with your description so they can see what is expected to be done. Notice I did it just like the other way with the page. So I typed it in from the Google Drive Resource app. I clicked the checkbox. I go to import, import embed, and then it imports it with that orange box again, that placeholder. In case you missed it, I came up here to insert content and Google Drive Resource app. Then I save changes. Okay, and so now there we go. I've got my description here, what I want them to do, and right underneath is my embedded video. So you could do that with another kind of discussion as well. Maybe you want them to view a video and then have a discussion on what happened in that video. There are so many options that you could do with that. Now let's look at the same thing in an assignment. So to create an assignment in Schoology, we do the same thing we've been doing. Hover over, get that green line, click on it, add assignment. Now this one is set up a little bit differently than the page and the discussion. Okay, here I'm going to put my title again. Any written directions here. And then once again, insert content, Google Drive Resource app, and find your video. Okay, click the video, import, import embed, and there it is. So let's say you want the students to watch a video on something before you give them an assignment. Maybe this assignment is a graphic organizer. They need to open up the graphic organizer and fill it out as they're watching the video. This would be a great way to set that up. Right? If your graphic organizer is on Google Drive, you can easily set it up as a Google Drive assignment. This would push all of the graphic organizers and give one to each student so they all have their own to work on. If you're putting it in the gradebook, make sure to set up a due date and a category, and then click Create. All right, so here we have our activity. We'll click into it. Here we have our written directions. We have the video we want them to watch. And then this is where the students can make any submissions for any assignments that they have. All right, so we've got them working in Schoology assignments and discussions now. And again, you can use those videos to preview the assignment. You can use it to teach. You can use it to model what you want them to do on the assignment. You can guide them through the assignment. All right, and finally, we can embed videos into Schoology assessments. You can use those videos to assess student learning. Schoology assessments are a great way to assess students. There are so many question options available, and then you can embed videos in just about all of them. So in our Schoology course, to add an assessment, we are going to find that little green arrow, click it. We're going to add assessment. We're going to give it a name, a due date. If you want it in the gradebook, change the number of points. Right now, submissions are disabled, so if it would be posted for students, they wouldn't even be able to do it. So you can enable the submissions once you're ready for the students to take it. If you want them to put in a password before even taking those submissions, that's an option. Make sure to add a category and then click create. Once you do that, it pops you over into the assessment portion of Schoology, so you can set up your assessment, put in any instructions you want to make sure they know about ahead of time. You can adjust the settings here and then click save. Once you've done that, you come over to questions to enter your questions. So now, like I said, you can add video to just about any of these question types. I mean, look at how many there are. There are so many options. We're going to just do a simple multiple choice one for this one. What we're going to do is click on question setup. We are going to type our question here. And then we're going to come up to this little tool button and click it. We're going to upload a video player. And you can do one of two things. You can upload a video or you can record a video. If you've taken a video with Screencastify, then this is the way we are going to go about it. If you have not created it with any other tool, you can record it right within Schoology, but this would be like a webcam type video. So let's upload it. Now there are a couple of ways that you can upload your video. If your video is saved on YouTube, you can just add your URL there and it'll load right in for you. I have found this way to be simplest for YouTube. However, I have not found it to be simple for like Google Drive videos. If you copied the share link and put it in here, it does not work as well. So what we're going to do is we are going to click to add our video. And then at this point, you would have needed to download your video onto your computer. All right, so here we have a video. I'm going to load it all up in there, and it does take some time sometimes for it to load depending on the length of the video. That one was really quick. You know it's done when the source URL pops up and it says replace video. We're going to click OK. Now you can give your video a title here. You can change the pixels if you choose. There is the video, so you can make sure it's the right one and click OK. So here the video player, that is where our video is stored. We can put our answer options here. And then what you can even do if you want your answers to be video, maybe you pull out a little snippet. Maybe your question is, where in the video did Sally use personification? Maybe you just want to, you have a little snippet, you use Screencastify to get a little snippet of that video where Sally used personification. You can use the tool again. Make sure when you're doing it, you click video player, upload video. And then in it goes. So now what we need to do is we need to select the answer to the question and click save. So let's preview this. Let's see what it looks like from the student perspective. Up at the top, we're going to click preview, start new attempt. Here would be my title and the question where you're going to type the question here. They'd watch the video. Here are the answers. Here is what it would look like if you had a little snippet, and they could just choose the correct answer. There are so many ways in which you can embed your videos into Schoology. I'm sure some of you come up with ways that I did not even talk about today, but I would love to hear what some of them are. So feel free to share it with me. I would love to hear your ideas. My email address is on the introduction screen. If you have any questions along the way when you're using Screencastify and embedding videos into Schoology, do not hesitate. You can feel free to reach out to me at any time.